Welcome back, guys, to another penny stock video. This one is Aileron Therapeutics. Ticker name is ALRN. This is a very special one because they do have a ton of institutions buying the stock and also a lot of insider buying. If you guys don't know what insider buying is, essentially the people that are on the board of Aileron Therapeutics, the CEO, the directors, for example, they have been purchasing a lot of shares. And that is giga bullish in my opinion, because a lot of times when these massive penny stocks go up from like $1 to almost $2, you see a lot of the insiders selling off the shares and grabbing profits. But this is very different because Aileron Therapeutics, more people are hopping in. The 5-year chart doesn't look good, and Aileron Therapeutics has somewhat flattened out over the past several months. And these guys did IPO at $13, but of course bad trials and also bad drugs eventually brought the stock down to a low price of 36 cents. Now it's $1.97. The volume recently has been picking up. It's 8.88 million, and the share price recently has just been hovering at around $1.90 for a very, very long time. Now let's talk about Aileron Therapeutics and what these guys are all about. They are mostly focused on transforming the experience of chemotherapy for cancer patients, because we all know that chemotherapy, even though it does kill cancer cells, it also does kill off good cells with normal growth, and that's very bad. Chemotherapy has a ton of very, very dangerous side effects. Chemotherapy is the backbone treatment for a ton of cancer patients, because let's say an individual has cancer in one specific area in their body. It's super small. It's almost impossible to remove it with a scalpel. I mean, you're gonna have to be needing radiation, chemotherapy to kill that small batch of cancer cells, but at the same time, you also will be killing good, healthy dividing cells, which is very bad. This includes hair follicle cells, skin cells, bone marrow cells, all very essential to survival. Aileron Therapeutics has a drug called ALRN 6924. It's the first and only chemoprotective therapy that's in current development. It's also going through some clinical trials, which is pretty big. And this drug is very nice since it does activate wild type P53, and essentially it does shield the healthy cells from chemotherapy. That way, only the cancer cells die off, whereas the healthy dividing cells are left fine. Around January 8th, there was over 9 million shares purchased by a director for over $16 million. It's absolutely huge and something that we've never even heard before. And usually you don't really see this much buying, especially when the stock has already went up this much. But for Aileron Therapeutics, there's a ton of insider buying. And let's talk about some of the institutions that are buying in. You do have Jennison Associates, they are buying in as well. Vanguard Group also loves the stock. You got Blair William and several other funds. Now, if you scroll around, you can see the majority of the funds are either not selling or buying, which is actually a pretty bullish sign since they're simply holding on to position. But the majority of the funds out there are actually increasing their positions massively. Most guys are not selling shares. Majority are increasing shares. And what's even more interesting is a lot of the insider buying is happening, which is great. That means a lot of the directors, the executives in Aileron Therapeutics are very confident in their therapeutic treatments of chemotherapy to the point that they're buying more shares. Obviously, when you use your own money to reinvest in your company, it adds a lot of confidence to a lot of investors, especially the retail guys out there. You clearly see you got several directors increasing shares massively. You got one of the insiders buying 9 million shares. You got several other directors buying hundreds of thousands of shares. It looks pretty good. And if you don't see any insider buying for a specific penny stock, especially a pharmaceutical penny stock, it's really not that good of a company. Aileron Therapeutics has also been showing a lot of clinical data on their ALRN 6924 drug. It's currently in the phase 1B trial. It actually got through like the preclinical trials, and now it's going to be using on real patients. A lot of these patients have said that this therapeutic treatment does somewhat work, and the treatment was given 24 hours prior to chemotherapy. There were about 18 patients enrolled across 3 ALRN 6924 dose levels, and a lot of these patients afterwards experienced less side effects of chemotherapy. Aileron Therapeutics ALRN 6924 drug is still in the phase 1 trials, and so far it has been doing pretty good, especially for a very new stock that just simply came into the clinical trials area. Now there's also also other smaller clinical trials going on with this drug, including treating children with solid tumors, brain tumors, etc., and also using this in treating patients with undergoing chemotherapy sessions. And ALRN6924 drug has been helping, and this actually stops some of the tumor growth and also stops killing of the new healthy growth cells. So there are some pretty good results for Aileron Therapeutics, but also keep in mind that this is in the phase 1 phase. And if you want to be playing Aileron Therapeutics, you're going to have to be extremely patient because they're going to be needing more trials. And the FDA process is a very complex process and a very time-consuming process. This stock is honestly for individuals who are really patient on the company. But one of the biggest things I want to just keep in mind is there's a lot of insider buying. Because you do have one of the directors purchasing like 9 million shares and several other guys in the company purchasing more shares, and also hedge funds and also big banks purchasing, Aileron Therapeutics feels like a confident play. Now, this is a penny stock and I really don't recommend putting too much money in this. And if you guys have, let's say, a $10,000 portfolio, no more than $1,000 in Aileron Therapeutics, these penny stocks are very volatile. They go up and down. But if you do some nice cookie cutter technical analysis, the share prices have actually stabilized at around $1 and also $2 for a very long time. There is some fluctuations here and there. The share prices have stabilized between $1.70 and $2 for the past several weeks. And the share prices have been going up for a long time. There are some periodic spikes here and there. And by the way, if you see like a massive green spike like this, it's usually time to run away because share prices do drop. But at this current moment, there seems to be more volume, especially how several months ago, the volume was at an average of 300 to 500,000. Now the average volume is roughly at 3 to 5 million. The more volume, the better. And a lot of these penny stocks, when their volume starts hitting roughly 20 million, 30 million, the share prices go all the way up. I think the reason why there's so much insider buying for Aileron Therapeutics is because there's no other therapeutic treatments out there that prevent chemotherapy from killing healthy growth cells except ALRN. These guys are making a drug in the cancer sector that prevents the side effects of chemotherapy. This is a very rare industry, but this is an industry that will definitely be sought after. If they could come out with a very, very good way to stop chemotherapy side effects from happening, then this share price is going to go up. If they get FDA approval, their share price is going to go up because no other company right now is researching this type of therapeutic pharmaceutical type of drug. And it's very interesting to see what Aileron Therapeutics is up to. Now, they are banking on just simply one drug, the ALRN6924. Phase 1B trials. If it goes to phase 2 trials, share prices will go up. If it goes to phase 3 trials, share prices go up even more. But currently, I've been trying to read up more information about this. Not that many trials are happening, but the trials that have finished actually showed pretty decent results of patients that underwent these therapeutic treatments before chemotherapy. They actually provided a lot more information and they actually responded pretty well to Aileron Therapeutics. Last but not least, it actually somewhat works. That's the main thing. If it doesn't work at all, then obviously share prices will go down. And the whole reason why in the past year it's up 150% is because their treatments actually do work against the side effects of chemotherapy. That's why, hey guys, thanks for watching. Comment below. Be very careful with penny stocks, by the way. I mean, so far, Aileron Therapeutics could be a very good long-term hold. If you really want to play FDA approval and also FDA phases and clinical trials, you're going to have to be holding this stock not for a week, not for a month, but possibly 6 to 12 months. It's more of a long-term play, but overall, Aileron Therapeutics seems extremely promising. Thanks for watching, guys, and comment below.